പുസ്തകക്കൂട്ടിലേക്ക് ഏവർക്കും സ്വാഗതം. Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the Communist Manifesto. Since elections are nearing, why not take up the Communist Manifesto once again and relook at what really has changed and what was it in its origin at 1847. We start with the new class that emerged in 1847. The class or the humans were divided as bourgeois and proletarians. It's the beginning of Communist League, where the members Karl Marx and Engels contributed to the league by drafting this Communist Manifesto on these two classes. They lay down some observations and some guidelines as a revolutionary change to bring humanity once again. It was the byproduct of industrialization that these two classes emerged: the capitalist or the bourgeois or the proletarian were just reduced to slaves who did major chunk of work. Bourgeois created a world market and destroyed feudal system. Their relations were quite selfish and monetary based. Bourgeois could not survive without innovations and revolution, so they encouraged to conquer global market. On other side, the proletarians were starving. They were only given food that was required for working the next day. So the Communist Manifesto suggested the abolishment of private property. Now, in those days, bourgeois claimed that all should abolish private properties, but when it comes to proletarians, they hardly had anything called private property. So we understand that this was mainly said for bourgeois to abolish private property. Those who worked hard had nothing in hand, well, others who did not even do any labor had everything. Against this, the bourgeois said that the family, this means the abolition of family, private property. They undoubtedly addressed it as family. The abolishment of family was what communist intended. A rumor was spread like this, but this raised the question how hypocrites view their relations. It was on quite selfish monetary basis, and communists argued that women were treated just like an instrument for production and reproduction. Communists also put up the one of the suggestion, that is introduction of tax system. Another suggestion that communists made was is the breaking of legacy. Like the wealth was handed over from one generation to another generation uh, by family hierarchy and all. This also disturbed or brought discrepancies among bourgeois and proletarians. So they suggested to break the legacy, and with the person's death itself has wealth is taken by the state, and state distributes that evenly. Communists suggested a central state that look after everything. A national bank was also suggested that gave loan, and that loan was in another way used for building and developments. Free education and free education was another thing they introduced. In 1872, when Engels and Marx was asked about the developments all over the world due to introduction of communism, any changes that they would like to make, or they regretted about anything in this blueprint text, to which they replied that introduction of communist manifesto, a blueprint was introduced to humanity, and with passing years it should be read in new light of changes. That was the suggestions they made. In 1871, the French government was overtaken by proletarian classes. For 2 years, the proletarian ran the government. Later on, the French army took charge of it, and we all know what happened in Paris. The bloody Paris is what it called. Sadly, this made communists realize that capitalist built government system will never work in a communist environment. And on thinking and discussing about it further, they came up with democratic style of government, and this is still practical in our interdependent global market scenario. And this is the one that seems to be more practical in highly connected today's interdependent global market. These are some of the findings that I found discussable about Communist Manifesto. There are cues. You can go through the Communist Manifesto for more details. Well, whatever I said is just my reading of the Communist Manifesto. I sincerely express my gratitude to Shakti Bodhi Gurukulam and Project Book House. Om Sahana Bhavatu सह नो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति।